Hi, everybody. Welcome to Women in Retail Talks, the podcast where C-suite executive women in the retail space share their stories of professional growth, leadership development, personal journeys, and more. I'm Melissa Campanelli, the co-founder of Women in Retail Leadership Circle, which is a membership-based community of executive women at leading retailers and brands. And joining me today is Lisa Collier, the Chief Product Officer at Under Armour. Lisa's joining me from Shop Talk. Today, we're talking about Lisa's career journey, her role at Under Armour, key goals she's focusing on right now, her leadership style, and so much more. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you.
So good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us here at Shop Talk. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about your current role at Under Armour. So as Chief Product Officer, what do you oversee? What does that title mean?
Yeah, as Chief Product Officer, I oversee merchandising, product line management, technical development, design, and innovation.
Great. And you joined the company in 2020. So tell me a little bit about what excites you about Under Armour right now.
Yeah, I joined the company in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic.
Yes.
So that was an interesting time to join a company. But really what excites me about Under Armour and why I came to Under Armour is, I've been in the industry a very long time, and I'm passionate and love what I do. But I'm also equally as passionate about sports. And I saw this opportunity to combine what I love doing with sports. And it really felt like a marriage made in heaven. I also love the spirit of Under Armour because Under Armour is an underdog brand. And I feel like it's the fighting energy, the notion of protect this house, and how we think as an organization really suits my personality. So I was excited to join it. And continue to bring more of my leadership at Under Armour and be able to drive it against sports, athletes, and serving consumers.
What are some sports that you are a big fan of? I know you do stand-up paddleboarding.
Very good that you remember that. I personally love stand-up paddleboard and yoga and Pilates. I love to hike and do all of those things, but I'm a absolute maniac college football fan. That's my number one go-to, but put any sport on TV and I'll watch it.
Yeah. It's like my daughter goes to Ohio State, so I know what that's like.
That is my ultimate school. My daughter goes to Ohio State too, so I'm a Buckeye through and through.
I did not know that. That's amazing. Oh yeah, I'm all
got a
about
lot to
it.
talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
OH.
I hope. So let's talk a little bit about. So we talked about your career, your role at Under Armour. What are some goals that you're working on right now at the company? You've been there for a couple of years now, but what are some goals you're working on right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, our role at Under Armour is to give athletes solutions they never knew they needed and can't live without, right? And if that is the foundation, we have a lot of goals, right? Because there's a lot of athletes that want to get better every day, and how do we serve them? But, both our professional athletes, our collegiate athletes, and then just our athletes in general. But goals we have are, really ensuring how we deliver against those consumer needs. Again, they didn't know they needed them. So how do we deliver them solutions to support what they're doing? So that's a high level goal of what we're focused on. The second goal is really about how do we engage with that 16 to 20-year-old team sport athlete. That has to be the foundation of who we engage with. And who sees us as cool and culturally relevant, because that's how the business is going to continue to grow and maintain and evolve, right? With the constant changes, if we're tracking that consumer, that's really going to help us serve the broader population. And then I'd say the third goal that we practice quite often, the third thing we practice that we're quite focused on is sustainability and circularity. So if you think about planet and what are we going to do to have a better planet in the future? So as we're developing yarns and fibers, thinking about how they can be circular ready so that when we can take those garments back and ultimately do something different with them, whether we're also doing things like less fiber shedding out there in the environment. Fiber shedding, a lot of people don't know what that is, but we should all know that we eat about a credit card of plastic a day based on the particles. So think about cleaning out your dryer, linen from your vent from your dryer. That stuff is coming off your clothes. So we're working towards creating fibers that actually are longer and have less shedding, so that we're not repolluting the world simultaneously. We just recently made a machine with a couple of, I think it's the James Heal Institute, to measure it, so that at the factory base and at the materials base, we can start understanding how we drive less fiber shedding all along the supply chain.
That is fascinating. I did not know that. I feel like I know a lot about Under Armour, but that's so cool. Congratulations. That's a huge initiative, I'm sure. We're covering a lot of that in our content lately. I think people are starting to realize the importance of it, despite how big your company is.
Yeah,
you know?
It's critical. And we really have big objectives through 2030, making sure we're using recycled polys. And we're also always innovating on new fibers that hopefully will drive groundbreaking opportunities that we can share with other brands. Because it's not just doing about the right thing for us, it's doing the right thing for the planet.
Wow, cool. So let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and talk about your leadership style. It's so important with all the work that you're doing, that you have a great team. So how do you motivate your team and keep them happy and engaged?
I think first and foremost, starts with being an empathetic leader, right? Being able to really listen to your teammates, to your employee population, both at the professional, personal level, and how to drive and guide them. I think second, it's for them to know you're right in it with them. So whether it's rolling up your sleeves and doing what needs to get done and helping jump in with the work that needs to happen. I am definitely a leader that I empower my employee base, but I also want them to know I'm with them, shoulder to shoulder, as we drive through new changes and different opportunities, or if we have to weave down a different path. That I'm right there shoulder to shoulder with them, driving that change. And then I think there is a level of, I don't have expectations for them higher than I have for myself. So, I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room, and I want them to do that too. We all want people to have work-life balance, but we have a responsibility to take care of ourselves, and taking care of our families. So we've got to be on when we're at work. And how are we driving and executing to deliver those results?
Great. So important. Everything you just said, so important right now. At Women in Retail, we talk a lot about mentorship. It's every single person that we speak to in our group always talks about how mentorship is so important to them, either that they have a mentor that they look up to, or they are mentors to others. Do you have a mentor? Did you have a mentor? And do you do any mentoring now?
Yeah, I think mentoring is as important as you're speaking about it. I have been both a mentee and a mentor, and I love engaging and helping others. And sometimes a mentorship is just a small interaction, right? It doesn't have to be
something
a year-long formal commitment. A lot of times when specifically young girls are coming out of college and they've connected with somebody in my family or one of my children, and would your mom talk to me? Absolutely. I'll pick up the phone anytime and have those conversations and help drive some kind of guidance, or to be able to talk about my own experiences. But I do that because I had some incredible mentors in my career. I hate to admit I've been in this business almost 38 years, so it's a pretty long time. But over those years, I've come across working with some of the best leaders in retail, and I've had the fortune of being mentored by them.
Yeah, it's great passing along the knowledge and the wisdom.
And that knowledge and wisdom, what I always find valuable too, it's not just about the knowledge and wisdom as it relates to work. It's about the knowledge and wisdom as it relates to balance in life. Many times as women in this industry, understanding the balance. Back in my career, I worked at the Limited, and I worked with a lot of powerful women, and they were also moms too. So understanding when I was going to go down that path, how do you strike some of that right balance? How will the kids adjust? And all of those things. So mentorships, I think, come both on the personal and professional level, and they're super valuable.
Yeah, so true. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your involvement in Souls for Souls. They're a great partner of ours as well. They've we've worked with them at some of our summits. You're on the board. So tell me a little bit about your role with them and what it is and what you do for them.
I actually think I brought them to you.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Yes, I did. I brought them with NYDJ, and we did a give back of all of our products, and we had them at our booth.
Yes.
And that was at a time when I was on the board. So I'm happy to hear that you've continued that partnership. It just puts a smile on my face and warms my heart when I think about Souls for Souls. So my first experience with Souls for Souls came when I was at NYDJ. I needed to have a place to exit some products when I got there and clear some inventory. And I was looking for the right community and the right way to get product in the right hands from a donation perspective. And I came across Souls for Souls, and I had the fortune of meeting Buddy Taser, who's just a fabulous guy. And he talked to me about Souls for Souls and all of the people there. We ended up donating some jeans and some product. And by the giveaway, I was asked to join them on a trip to Haiti for a give back. And it was probably one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had, is to go to Haiti, where that's where Souls for Souls it originated as a result of the first earthquake in Haiti. And they started with shoes and then dove into apparel. And the incredible thing was to go there and see a give back happen, and be struck by the poverty that you saw. So I always say that I went with both a heavy and full heart when I came back from that trip, because you see that there's so much opportunity for us to give and to do things for the good, for the humans around us, for the good. And from that trip, I also experienced the partnerships of other different give-backs, like Feeding Haitians was a group that we worked with when we were there. And so one of our experiences after we gave some product giveaways is we went to feed some children. And I had the most incredible experience there. These children are so happy. They laid with their heads on the table until we served them. And then once we served them, they said a prayer and sang a song to us before they dove into eating. But the respect and the smiles on their face and their gratitude was just, again, it was in some ways heartbreaking because you wanted to do more for them, but in some ways just that small act of kindness can make a big difference. So amazing. That hooked me. Yeah. From that moment, I said, "Okay, buddy, I know you wanted me to join the board. I'm in. Yeah. Let's go." So I'm in my second term on the board. I'll probably end up. I think I have to exit after 2 terms.
Right.
But my engagement with them is really connecting people where we can find opportunities to give back. Fortunately, Under Armour was also part of giving to Souls for Souls before I got here, wow. Now we continue to work with them on different things. And one of the big things that we're doing in Souls for Souls is called For Every Kid. Some of our board members were really hopeful that we would also do things right here on our home field, and that was important. So the For Every Kid program is really about putting shoes on 1.5 million homeless children in the U.S. Wow. And so that's one of our latest campaigns that we're really driving and focusing on and really fundraising beyond the broader fundraising globally.
Amazing. Yeah, Nancy Youssef is actually on our board. It's actually, I'm sorry, a member of Women in Retail. So we had that was a great connection that you gave to Women in Retail. So that's so cool. We only have time for one more question. So what are you most excited about just in the world of retail right now? Is there anything that's like kind of, you get up in the morning, you're thinking about how you're just excited about what's next?
You know what I'm most excited about is consumers want to come back to retail. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds simple, and all the incredible things that the world is doing digitally is awesome. But as a product leader, I want consumers to come and touch and feel and try and see our product, and we know that that's still really important to consumers.
Yeah, that's true. It is exciting to see. It seems like there's a lot more of more folks in the stores. I'm starting to hear statistics about that, so that's exciting. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. It was so great talking to you. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's busy here at Shop Talk, so It was great to see you again.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, so
Good to see you.
let's keep in touch for sure.
Sounds good.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please go to womeninretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review our show. Lastly, if you're a female retail leader interested in joining our community at Women in Retail Leadership Circle, visit womeninretail.com/apply. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.